Kelly Ripa had always known that life could bring its share of surprises, but nothing could have prepared her for the subtle, almost invisible changes she began to notice in Mark. These weren't dramatic signs. There was no sudden collapse or obvious signal. Instead, they were the small things that only someone who truly knows a person can detect. A pause before answering a question, a distant look when he thought no one was watching, a weariness in his movements that sleep alone couldn't ease. Mark chalked it up to stress, long workdays, the usual demands of life. But Kelly sensed something deeper. Real love has a way of reading the silence between statements, the weight behind smiles, and the truth that people often try to hide. The morning that changed everything. One cool autumn morning, sunlight streamed gently through the windows of their Manhattan apartment, casting soft patterns across familiar furniture and photographs that chronicled decades of shared life. Mark sat beside Kelly, a posture that felt deliberate, as if he was preparing himself for something important. His hands were folded in front of him, hands that had held hers through countless moments of joy, sorrow, and ordinary life. When he finally spoke her name, there was a tremor in his voice, subtle but profound. He told her the doctors had found something that required attention, something that would need care and time. He didn't dramatize the news, but the seriousness of it filled the room, settling like a quiet weight neither of them could shake. It was a reminder that life can change in small, meaningful increments, rather than through sudden, earth-shattering events. Balancing hope and fear. Kelly's instinct was to take charge, to plan, and to believe that strength and action could guide them through whatever came next. Even as she spoke, though, she felt the cold edge of fear pressing against her resolve. Mark listened quietly, reassuring her that he wasn't surrendering, only speaking honestly about the situation. They sat together in the delicate space where hope and fear coexist, holding on to each other as if the simple act of presence could steady the ground beneath them. It became clear that love, in moments like this, was less about words and more about silent support. Sometimes just being there, in the moment, mattered more than having all the answers. Life in the public eye. The following weeks unfolded like a delicate rhythm of appointments, tests, and quiet conversations that stretched long into the night. Kelly kept showing up for work, bringing energy and light to others even when her own heart felt heavy with worry. Mark remained himself, kind, warm, and quietly humorous, but Kelly could see how much effort it took to maintain even those small markers of normalcy. Their children drifted in and out of the apartment, bringing noise and comfort. They didn't need to be told anything. They could sense the subtle changes. Each visit was a reminder that the ordinary moments could hold extraordinary meaning when life feels uncertain. Nights that speak louder than words. In the quiet hours, Kelly often found Mark awake, flipping through old photographs or staring out at the city lights below, letting memories and reflection fill the spaces between their conversations. Sometimes they spoke, sometimes they simply shared silence. But the absence of words never felt empty. It was a shared understanding, a comforting presence that didn't need to be named. One evening, after a particularly long and tiring day, Mark asked Kelly to sit with him on the balcony. They watched the city stretch beneath them, a living memory of all the years they had shared, appreciating both the ordinary and the profound in a single, gentle moment. A family. Moment of connection. One afternoon, during a rare stretch of lighter days, Mark gathered everyone together in their living room. His voice was calm but deliberate as he encouraged each of them to live boldly, to take risks, to care deeply for one another, and especially for Kelly, who so often put on a brave face for the world. There were tears, hugs, and a shared acknowledgement that whatever came next, they would face it together. It wasn't a moment of fear, but one of collective understanding, an acknowledgement that love, support, and presence were the forces that would carry them forward. Choosing gratitude over fear. As winter approached and the world outside slowed, each day felt sharper, more vivid, more precious. Some mornings, Mark found strength enough to walk outside with Kelly, their hands intertwined, savoring the glow of holiday lights. Other days were quieter, spent resting and reflecting. One evening, while paging through old photos, Mark reminded Kelly that he wasn't dwelling on loss, but was focused on gratitude for the years and moments they had shared. Kelly gently reminded him that gratitude and hope could coexist, that appreciating the present didn't require surrendering to fear or abandoning the possibility of tomorrow. Love as steadfast presence. Later, as Mark slept, Kelly watched him with a tenderness deepened by the uncertainty surrounding them. She traced her fingers along his hand, grounding herself in the warmth of someone she had loved for decades. Whatever the future held, whether challenges or clarity, answers or questions, they would face it side by side. Real love, she realized, does not vanish in times of uncertainty. It grows steadier, leaving echoes that endure beyond moments of fear and into the shared life they continue to build together. Finding strength in everyday moments. Kelly learned that the most profound acts of love are often the simplest. Sitting together in silence, preparing meals, sharing jokes, or simply holding hands. These repeated actions became markers of resilience and connection. She recognized that strength is not always measured in grand gestures, but in the quiet commitment to stay present, to witness, and to care, even when the outcome remains uncertain. Facing the unknown together. The uncertainty of Mark's condition did not define their lives, but it reshaped them, sharpening their awareness and deepening their appreciation for the small joys that often go unnoticed. Kelly understood that living fully does not require the absence of fear, but the courage to face each day with intentional presence. She remained patient, attentive, and emotionally available, creating a space where love could thrive, even when clarity was out of reach. The quiet power of family. Their children, attuned to the subtle cues, brought comfort and grounding. They didn't need to ask hard questions. Their presence, laughter, and quiet companionship became part of the support system that allowed Kelly and Mark to navigate uncertainty with dignity. The family learned that strength is relational, built on trust, attention, and shared endurance, rather than individual heroics. Resilience in routine. Through their daily routines, Kelly and Mark discovered that continuity itself could offer comfort. Familiar meals, evening rituals, small jokes, and gentle check-ins became lifelines. These routines, humble yet consistent, allowed life to remain connected to ordinary joy, even amidst unpredictable circumstances. Kelly observed that resilience often comes quietly, in repeated, uncelebrated actions, rather than grand gestures. The value of presence. Being present became an active choice, an act of love that required intentionality. Kelly's attentive listening, gentle guidance, and unspoken support reinforced that Mark was not alone. That uncertainty did not have to mean isolation. Presence, she realized, was as powerful as any treatment or intervention, shaping how they experienced fear, hope, and the slow rhythm of daily life. Anchored by love. Even as the days passed without dramatic shifts, love remained the anchor in their fragile world. Kelly's commitment, patience, and quiet dedication created a foundation that allowed both her and Mark to breathe, to hope, and to continue living fully. Love, she understood, is not only an emotion, but a practice, steady, intentional, and enduring, capable of holding people through unknown terrain. Hope in continuity. Every shared meal, every glance, every gentle touch became a marker of hope. Kelly realized that hope is rarely a grand statement or sudden breakthrough. It's cultivated in the continuity of care, in small rituals, and in the deliberate act of staying connected. Each day offered an opportunity to affirm presence and nurture a sense of safety, even with the challenges that quietly lingered in the background.